Well, hey, ladies, I have been told that I need to come in and give some instruction on how to make a homemade biscuit. And unfortunately, I like them a lot myself, and I need to quit eating the homemade biscuits. But I have watched my grandmother, particularly, make 10,000 biscuits, and I'm grateful for that information because there's nothing like a great biscuit. And I know April just went through all these. All these ingredients in and of themselves are just they're bad, but when mixed together and put in the right heat and the right doses, man, it's world changing right there. So anyway, I make biscuits, as I said, like my grandmother, and begin with clean hands, and I've done that. I've washed, but we make them right in the bowl, and I make them right on the counter. So we get a little bit of flour here on our counter. So when we get our dough out in a little bit, we can do that. Um, I sift, and for those of you who need instructions on well how much buttermilk and how much flour, I just can't help you. I don't know. I just go till it looks right to me, and it helps. And you want to put a little Crisco. I like if you don't have a black iron skillet, well, God help you, you need one. All right, so go get one of those. Gotta have it. Put a little Crisco. Just grease the pan up a little bit. Again, I don't know how much. Just grease the pan. All right, April, tell you what, let me have a dish towel out of here.
I got one.
That'll help me with my hand here occasionally. All right, now we're going to make a bird nest in our flour. So you just go right here where you've sifted and begin to mash down and make a little circle like so. And April and I we're empty nesters these days, but I'm going to make a little more biscuits for those of you who might have some hungry people around your house and want more of a pan load of them. But again, you're just making a bird nest, and you're going to put your ingredients right in the middle of this flour. So I just go down until I find what I'm going to call pay dirt, and then I'm going to kind of mash that out a little bit and make a bottom in it.
And I told it's important that you use self-rising White Lilly
flour. Oh yeah, I'm a White Lilly guy. It does matter what kind of flour you use, I promise you. Some of the cheap stuff that you buy just is not going to help you. All right, for like a pan of biscuits, I'm going to kind of go about right there. And the thing about making them this way, if you need more or less of something, you just kind of add it as you go. So not hard at all. I go in here and get a little Crisco. This is about maybe the size of a small egg, about like that. Maybe I might need a little bit more in a moment. April, I think if you'll maybe cut me off just a little piece of that, about that piece of butter right there. You don't have to do this, but I'm just kind of a guy that makes it a little bit extra, okay? So I like a little bit of butter cut in to my biscuits as well, and then we can top them a little bit. All right, the trick here is just to squeeze what is going to feel like the most yucky mess that you've ever felt in your life. There's nothing like Crisco, buttermilk, and butter and flour on your fingers. So you kind of just start mashing that Crisco up into little bitty pieces, and then as you're doing it, you just kind of go in, and you can see how my fingers are just dragging a little bit of that sifted flour into it just as you go. And what you're going to do after a while, that's going to begin to feel a little more like dough and a little bit less like the mess that it is. But it does, to make more of a pan of biscuits, it does take a little bit to get there. So we may have a little bit of editing right here, and as I'm squeezing that, we'll come back when I get this to looking more like dough. All right, when you start getting about to this point, you'll start feeling it becoming a little bit more like dough. And those of you who get a little nervous about pouring buttermilk straight into a jar, or I'm sorry, a bowl of flour, because you're wondering about, well, how will you ever get the wet out of it? That's why you have this sifted flour, because it just you just pick up the wet. You know that you're about done when it's no longer wet. Um, and so
Patience is key here.
patience is key. It doesn't take long, and you just got to make a bunch of them to uh, learn how to do it. But now where I've stopped the sifting like this, now I'm picking it up and turning it over, and maybe just a little bit of kneading that's in it. And I'm believing that's about to feel about right to me. Um, and I think with this one camera, you can see in here, and you can see there's nothing wet now in the bowl. So here comes the last little funny kind of thing: is you gotta go in and clean your fingers off, and you can just squeeze that last little bit off like that. And then what you're going to do is pick up that whole thing and put it here. All right. And I can look in and see that's just a little bit of wet, and then that's done again. So
and then you save this.
I'll go right back and make biscuits right back in it. And if you miss a little piece of buttermilk or something in it, well, it'll have flour on it, and it'll just be a little, I call it a little crispy kind of a thing. And when next time you sift your stuff, it'll be in your sifter, and you can toss it out. So now I need to wash my hands. All right, very important. Wash all that dough off. Also very important is to dry your hands at this point too, okay? A little bit more. And then you want to go in here and get this back ready for the next time you're making biscuits. And in so doing, put the flour, just rub it in good on dry hands. And where that was a little bit wet, where I took that off, I'm going to do that. My biscuit cutter is a old can. I think that was had olives in it, and that was about the right size for me. So again, sometimes you just need a little bit more dough to make that work. Flour, I'm sorry. I don't turn that over but just a few times, because the more you mess with it, the tougher that they get. And nobody likes a tough biscuit. All right. So dip your cutter in your flour, and you can begin to cut biscuits. And as we go, we'll just open them up a little bit.
And he's mine. None of you can have him.
I'm telling you, right now you're realizing what a high quality guy that I am. All right. April, if you want to get that.
I do know how to cook, though.
She is a very good cook. She is just a very bad biscuit maker. And I'm very particular. No.
I'm not a bad biscuit maker. I don't make biscuits.
She just don't make biscuits.
Why would I?
That you can buy them frozen, and they're beautiful, and that just happens. But sometimes you just want to get in touch with, how you grew up and all those sorts of things. So also with this, you just kind of, start that ball right over again, and then you can go right back to cutting them some more. April, if you want to put a little slither of butter on top of them, and if you will, just kind of take that little dish towel there and just dust them a little bit, would you?
What do you mean?
Just dust the top of it off. You don't want flour sitting on top of your biscuit. Just kind of, just like that.
Now, how much butter on top?
Just a little.
Like that?
Mm-hmm. The butter is obviously for flavor, but it also makes them beautiful golden brown when they come out.
And so how long are these going to bake?
Every oven is different. We bake them at 500 degrees, which is hot as your oven will go. And for my oven, 10 minutes is perfection. So every oven, again, cooks different. And so you'll have to kind of watch yours, especially about at the 8-minute mark, and look at them, but you just want them to be out golden brown. So there's that last one, and it's perfectly fine for your biscuits to be touching. And in fact, it even helps them. Let me just kind of dust that one out a little bit. That one won't be pretty, but we can give it to the birds. All right. Now then, if you want to stick it in the oven, we've already preheated it to 500, and we'll be ready to go in 10 minutes to have some delicious, beautiful biscuits.
Well, as you can see, the biscuits are out of the oven. They turned out beautiful. And babe, thanks for teaching us how to make homemade biscuits. I don't know that I learned and will remember, but for those of you that, especially those of you that might be looking for a husband, you need to take notes.
Yeah, but I am taking. So just to also say, I did put salt. I had already salted the flour bowl. So there's a little bit of salt in there, just a little bit of a pinch for flavor and taste and all those good things. So thanks so much.